Hello, Capricorn. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Capricorn is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Capricorn, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And we start with the Queen of Cups. I feel like you're moving into a very sensitive period of time in your life. You know, I think you're becoming more emotionally aware. Okay, I think that you're beginning to explore some of your deeper feelings about things in life. You're becoming more sensitive, I think, to the people around you. I think that you're very susceptible right now to emotional energy coming in. Okay, I think that you're starting to take maybe like an emotional inventory. Okay, working on that emotional transparency, working on your self-love, your self-care, getting down to the depths of who you really are. We're doing some soul searching, it feels like. Okay. I think you're somebody who is very sensitive, and I think that you don't always pay attention to your own emotions, but I feel like you are now. I feel like you're moving into a period of time where you're doing that soul searching, you're doing that inventory, and you're wanting to look inside and be very honest about how you feel about things, or how you feel currently about something that already happened in your life. Sometimes the queens are looking at the past, you know, processing and ending. Is there something that happened to you in your life that you haven't yet allowed yourself to feel? Okay, that might be what we're doing here with this. Well, let's put this card into a little bit of context, okay? Let's see what else is going on. We're going to use our Dove and Serpent spread. There's a 10 of Wands. We have a 10 of Pentacles. We have a 2 of Swords. We have a Lover's card. We have a 9 of Pentacles. Wow, this is very good. Over here, we have a 7 of Swords. We have a Knight of Cups. We have a 2 of Pentacles and an Ace of Cups. Wow. So I feel like you are moving into a period of healing. Okay. I think you're going to be making a lot of progress in a lot of different areas of your life right now. I feel like your ability to process your emotions right now and do that soul searching is really bringing about a renewed energy and a renewed vigor that you're going to then be able to take into the next few weeks. I feel like October is going to be a life-changing month for you. I really do. I feel that this is something that is we're transitioning from this looking at the past to then the Knight, which is looking at the future, okay? And I feel that you're experiencing a bit of a renewal. Yeah. Let's select our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. We're going to set this down right over here with Tiny Bob Ross right on top. We're not going to look at that happy little card until the very end. It will tie everything together, and it will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If at any moment during this message you feel like you might know what that card might be, put your prediction in the comments below the video, okay? Now, as we look around the room, what is the one major arcana card we see? Well, it is the Lovers, right? It is a card of union. It is a card of choice. Is it a card maybe of family, maybe romance? Okay, could be. We've got fire. one fire card right here in the middle. We've got water, water, water. You've got a couple of air cards. And then you've got your earth, earth, and earth cards. So the Lovers really is the focus. This is the reading in a nutshell. Okay, this is that card of choice, something that you want to say, heck yes, 1000%. Okay, no reservations on a particular choice. And I think maybe this is going to be the discovery of that choice. Okay. But first, I think you have to kind of process some of your past choices. Yeah, and maybe this is part of what the Queen is doing right now, really doing that soul searching, really taking that emotional inventory and understanding the choices that you've made in your life, why you made the choices that you did. Okay, not looking for blame, not looking for any kind of self-deprecating energy, but to be okay, to have this kind of radical self-love and say, you know what, the choices I made in my past, they felt right at the time, okay? And we're coming to terms, we're accepting that. There is this self-love saying, I made choices in my life that at the time they felt like they were the right choices, and we're kind of standing by those choices, you know? Even if they weren't always what others might see as being the right choice, we did what we thought we needed to at the time. Yeah. So your station here, like I said, is one of more emotional sensitivity. Okay, I feel like right now you're being told to lift the veil of your own feelings. Okay, because it's implying that there's some deep emotion that you've been ignoring, or that you haven't been looking at, or you've been kind of like saying, well, I'll look at it tomorrow, you know? And it might have something to do with some of your past choices, or some of the options from the past. You know, I kind of feel like you're being told to look at your life and see how things, it's kind of like tracing the thread through your life, right? And the two, because if we look at the Two of Swords as being, there's options, you know, in any particular moment, things could have gone this way or that way, right? And so for you to look back at your life and see how one door closed so another one would open, like everything, you know, kind of looking at it in that binary way, you know, that the choices that you made kind of directed you to where you are now. Yeah, to have that experience. I think as a practice of self-love, a practice of self-acceptance and self-care. Okay, to love who we are right now is to be okay with all of the choices that we made, all the switches, all the binary yeses and nos, lefts and rights, ups and downs that we had to go through to bring us to right here where we are right now. This card is all about reconciling the past in order to truly love ourselves right now in this moment, with all of our flaws, with all of our mistakes, with everything. Okay, there's a radical self-love. And that's your position on this spiral road right now, is one where you're being told to love yourself. And I don't know if it has anything to do with like a self-forgiveness or something like this, but that love is being emphasized. Okay. Also, this card is advising you to look deep within and figure out what it is you really want in life. What is it that you really, truly wish to have, to feel, to be? Especially now as we're kind of thinking about the past choices, wondering if you made some of these choices in the past because you didn't know exactly what you wanted. Okay, understanding what these past choices, okay, may be revealing to you about what it is you truly want in life. Yeah. Your 10 of Wands here to me feels like there has been a lot of pressure on you. It's like there's kind of an overwhelming feeling here. And so I almost wonder if the Queen is kind of letting something go. I feel like you're kind of being cautioned against allowing too much, maybe, burden on your shoulders right now. Don't take on any like unnecessary weight. Maybe it's guilt. Maybe it's some other kind of emotion that, you might be trying to name that. That's the lifting the veil, maybe trying to identify how you really truly feel so that you can relieve yourself of some sort of weight that's on your shoulders. Okay? Right now, Spirit's telling you at this time in your life, get rid of any unnecessary burdens, anything that you've been carrying with you, especially if it's, emotional in nature. Release any of that stuff. Okay? This is a weight that's going to prevent you, I think, from really traveling the road forward and getting that kind of love, that satisfaction. And to me, it feels like a rebirth or a renewal. I feel like your whole life is going to change in the coming month. Okay, we're at the end of September now. I think October is going to be very significant for you. I feel like everything that's been low is going to be lifted up in October. Yeah, mark my words. The 10 of Wands is a very heavy burden energy. It's oppressive. I feel like you're being weighed down. Something's on your shoulders and it's very heavy. We need to liberate ourselves from that. And if that has to do with self-love, self-care, forgiveness, that's the name of the game. Okay? This is also, the cards I think are telling you to watch out for a situation where you're going to be asked to carry way more weight than somebody else. Be careful in any situation where somebody wants to give you all the work to do. Okay? Be very cautious right now about taking on more responsibilities than you know you can handle. Sometimes this is about our emotional honesty. It's kind of saying, you know what, I can't handle all that weight. And I'm not going to pretend that I can if I can't. Okay? Because this is kind of like the plane is going to be overloaded and it won't be able to travel down the runway, Our car is too heavy and our tires aren't going to make it. Yeah. And I feel that this is either, it could be at work, it could be at home, it could be at school even. Okay? Don't commit to anything that's going to overload you or overburden you right now. That's not the name of the game right now is lightness. Okay, we have a lot of heavy energies, a 10, a 9. Okay? You're making choices now that are going to lighten the load. Okay? You're making choices now that are going to simplify your life and bring you to that Ace of Cups. This is your destiny. This is your absolute, this is what you do want to commit to, right? The Lover's card, and that's the love. Okay? Doesn't have to be romance, but if you're looking for romance, it would be a very good time for you now to free yourself of any kind of emotional burdens that you've been carrying, baggage. Free yourself of all of that so that you can be ready and open for true love to come in. If you're looking for that, okay? Down beneath the surface, 10 of Pentacles. This is a card of wealth. This is the card of your ideal life. Everything that you want. This is your internal ideal of your good life, your best life. This is what the Emerald City will look like for you. Whether it's your ideal relationship, your job, or your entire life altogether, which will include your pets, your plants, your people, okay? Your finances, your physical health, right? This is the picture perfect representation of that. And again, this could be very specific. It could be one area of your life. This is the perfect job. This is the perfect relationship, the perfect house, the perfect car, right? Or it could be just the overall picture of your life. Okay? And Spirit wants you to search yourself and have this vision. That's the again, the kind of going down into the depths. Because the Queen is a multi-layered card, right? Surface level, I'm just reflecting back to the world whatever it gives me, right? Whatever the world is doing, I'm just doing that too. Don't know what I actually want. I'm just doing what everybody around me is doing. That's what I'm doing. Then there's the shallow end of the pool, right? Which is I'm chasing pleasure, running from pain. That's it. Doesn't go any deeper than that, shallow end, right? Then there's the deep end. What do I really want? What do I really value in life? What really is going to give me a sense of satisfaction and meaning and purpose? So that's where you're being told to really throw off all these extra burdens that aren't helping you with anything and go down, go for a really deep dive into yourself and see what this picture is. All these strange symbols here, right? These are your particular talismans to attract into your life what you wish for your life. Now, the thing about the Ten of Pentacles is, if there's no actual depth here, these are empty shells, hollow, cardboard, right? Nothing real, no substance there. So you have to really dive deep, because if you stay on the reflective surface level of the pool or the shallow end, you're going to get to your goals and they're not going to have any flavor. They're not going to mean anything to you because they're not really yours, right? There's no depth. There needs to be some weight to this, you know. You need to be able to hold it in your hand and say, yes, there's heaviness there. So search yourself and find out what it is you really want in life and draw a picture of it. Make a list of it. Make a vision board. Do, I don't know, a mind map or something, right? Do a collage, cut out pages of a magazine or something and paste it onto some construction paper, I don't know. And have that vision, know what it is that you want in life. And I think moreover, know why you want it. Because somebody else does? Because it feels good? Or because it resonates with your soul? Because I feel like that's who I am. You know, I need that. It does something that unexplainable to you, you know. So that's what we're preparing for, because this is how your life is going to progress in the next month. Behind the scenes here, that Two of Swords, these are all your choices. It's every choice you've ever made in life, you know. The Two of Swords is not so much about the individual choices, but about how you make choices. Okay? Spirit wants you to consider how you make those choices, how you've decided between that path or that path in your life. Every moment is a crossroads. And I feel that you're at a bit of a crossroads now. The Queen of the Tarot, they're at the crossroads. The Queens and the Knights are the turning points. The Queens are processing an ending. The Knights are initiating a beginning. Okay? And what you're, I think, putting an end to is the old way of making decisions, because the new way is an intuitive way. This card is about looking at things from different angles. It's about kind of, you know, doing the math. It's a multiplication sign, isn't it? This is kind of like you're analyzing, and then you're analyzing more. You're splitting things up into its component pieces, and you're looking at those pieces. Okay? And you're doing that continuously. It's multiplication, yeah. But then this card becomes a stop sign, a big X. Because after you do the math, you've got to listen to that little crescent moon at the top of that card. You got to trust your intuition. You've got to know. You've got to be able to tap into that part of yourself, that depth of you, to say, okay, I've done the math, but this is what my heart really tells me. Because you could do the math all day. You could think about something for the rest of your life and never really know for sure if it's the right choice. So eventually the thought has to stop. And you got to trust the feeling. Okay? But if you don't know the feeling, or if you're not looking at the feeling, or it's veiled, or you're ignoring it, or you're just kind of like pushing it aside, trying not to feel it, it's not going to help you, and your choices are going to be scattered. Your choices are not going to be all that coherent. Now, I feel that there's always a guiding force in your life, even when you don't know why you're making the choices that you're making. There's still something that's guiding you in life. Okay. Spirit wants you to tap into whatever that guiding energy is. Okay, there's like a little transponder down in the bottom of the ocean here inside your soul, and Spirit wants you to connect with it, because it's trying to guide your choices for you. And you may even have noticed in your life, right, in the past, where you were about to make a really dumb choice and something happened that kind of saved your butt, guided you back to the path in a way. Okay, I think you've experienced that sort of thing before, kind of almost like a saving grace or some sort of divine intervention. Yeah, I feel like you've experienced those things before. These are choices that don't really always mean much, but the Lover's card is a card of union. This is a card of a 1000% heck yes choice. And this is something that I think you're going to want to marry yourself to. Now, because of that 10 and the Queen here, I feel that first you've got to make room in your life for the good thing that you really, really, truly want. If you're looking for love, well, this is it. But you've got to clear some space. You've got to make room for that to emotionally. You've got to make room for that love to enter. If this is a relationship, whatever the Ace of Cups is to you, it could be the job, it could be the pet, it could be the business, it could be your YouTube channel, it could be your best friend, it could be a family, it could be a new addition to your family. You got to make room, okay, and not overload yourself, not overwhelm yourself with obligations just to be busy. Sometimes the 10 of Wands will cover up the Queen, because instead of feeling how we feel, we just stay busy. We overload ourselves with things to do. Okay? We pack our day full of scheduling, right? Because we don't want to feel how we feel. Because once we take this away, now we're just water on water. This is double water. Now it's just like, now I have to feel how I feel. And don't always like that, This fire and water, they're not friends. So sometimes we use all this fire because we don't want to be the water. We don't want to feel that water. And for Capricorn, I think that makes sense. Sometimes your ambition is masking some deeper feelings that you have, some deeper emotional truths that right now Spirit is saying you need to acknowledge those, because you're making room in your life, you're making room in your heart and in your soul for really that sort of, that baby, that Ace of Cups, whatever that is, if that's your true love, that's your true purpose, your path, your holy grail. It is your quest, it is your destiny. It could be at home, at work, at school, it could be a relationship, it could be romance, whatever it is. Whatever it is you truly are looking for deep down in your soul. And I think that when we take away all of this, or at least temporary, or we reduce this or whatever, and we can feel what's going on inside, I think we'll know what it is that's really missing. What is it that we want? Okay. And then we're preparing ourselves to get that. So that Lover's card here is, don't make any choices in your life right now unless you are absolutely 1000% sure it's a yes. Okay? That 10 of Wands is very important here, and the cards are trying to tell you, for right now, for the next few weeks, don't commit to things unless you are absolutely 1000% yes, I'm in it. Okay? Because if you do, you're going to overload yourself with responsibilities, and something that you really do want to say heck yes 1000% to, there's not going to be room. Okay? Now, future position, 9 of Pentacles, I feel like you're moving into a period of progress. Okay? This is too heavy energy. Something needs to lighten the load. We need to get on down the road here. Okay, this is about you walking the path, traveling the path. This is visible sign of progress. I think everything in your life, as you remove the burdens of the false yeses, or even these maybes that we then commit to anyway, and instead we limit our life to only those heck yes 1000% choices. Okay? Now, this isn't to say that like, do you want to go to work today? Well, maybe that's not a 1000% heck yes, right? But you've got to dig a little bit deeper. Why should you go to work today? You know what I mean? So don't use this as an excuse to like do nothing except like watch my channel on YouTube or something, right? The one thing that you want to say heck yes to. We all have obligations and duties that we need to fulfill in life, okay? And I think getting down to that, the depth of that Queen of Cups is us understanding why we're doing the things we're doing. And why some of them need to be, do you want to go to work today? Heck yes, 1000%. Not because I like having to leave my house for 8 hours, 10, 12 hours a day and go do some work and then come home and be exhausted. No, not because I love that, but because it gives me a sense of purpose, or it pays the bills, or it's creating something else, or it's leading me somewhere else, or, there's a deeper reasoning, okay? So another way to look at the Queen of Cups is to get down to the very, very bottom of the why you're choosing the things you're choosing. And if you don't know, and if you can't somehow connect that with the union, with the ultimate will of your heart, the heck yes, the prophecy of your life, the destiny, then maybe you can say no to more things, okay? So that you have room for those things that are really in service of your highest good and your true will right now, and what it is that you really truly want, the life that you truly want, okay? Because in the coming weeks, I think October is really going to see you flipping things on their head, okay? I think you're going to be making a lot of progress. This is gain. This is your line going up and to the right, okay? Physical, financial improvement, mental, emotional growth, spiritual, creative evolution. 333, growth in every dimension of your life. Everything in life is going to get better, okay? Because of this emotional processing. Everything will improve in your life, okay? In a visible, like measurable way. In a way that you can count the tickets, you know what I mean? So make room in your life. Prepare yourself for things to start expanding and growing, okay? And you're moving into a period in the very near term. And I think this is a lot of growth, yeah? Now, on the path of the serpent, by the way, I want you to subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. I would really appreciate that, okay? I would be honored to have you as part of our community here. But it's your choice, obviously, right? Your general energy is the Seven of Swords. That's a card of distraction, spirit, and the cards, and especially this card, kind of cautioning you or wanting to bring your attention to how you handle distractions in life. Again, okay, taking on all of this extra busyness to distract us from how we're truly feeling, to distract us from like what's really going on in our heart. Are we pursuing the life we want? Do we have what we want? Do we have what we need? What's missing? What's here that shouldn't be here? And what's not here that should be here? These are the distractions. These are us getting mentally distracted from identifying those emotional truths. Okay? The tarot is always trying to teach you how to be a better magician. Okay? You are all a magus, right? A magician of the tarot, yeah? A magic maker. Spirit's always trying to, through the cards, show us how we can be better at that. And what is magic? the art and science of causing change in conformity with your will. This is your will. This is what you want to see. This is what you wish to manifest. Okay? And right now we're realizing that our choices are emotionally driven, and they're not always in line with our true will, with what we're trying to manifest. These swords are the distractions, the way we get caught up in other things that will prevent us from realizing the truth. Trying to stay on that central sword, but there are other voices, other opinions, resistance, doubt. There's even criticism, haters, instigators, naysayers outside. And then there's also doubt, mistrust, second-guessing, questioning, kind of a discouraging internal dialogue that's preventing us from making the progress. So this is a time for you to eliminate distractions, eliminate unnecessary commitments and burdens. Okay, trying to optimize the system here, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Okay, physically too. So what are some things in your life that you're allowing to distract you? Or that you even maybe don't realize are distracting you? Things that are stealing your time, things that are stealing your mental bandwidth from you. Okay? It's a time of identifying those and eliminating as many of those as we can. Now, we can't help it that every time we go to the grocery store, they're blaring music or advertisements over the loudspeaker. We can't prevent that. Maybe you can wear some headphones or some noise-canceling earbuds or something, right? We do the best we can. And sometimes we're going to get distracted. Sometimes I'm trying to sit down and do my work on the computer, and I start thinking about a song I heard, or the new 21 Pilots album that just came out, which you got to check it out. It's great. And also, Little Comets, they've got an album coming out very soon too. I'm very excited about getting distracted by that music. Sometimes distractions are good, you see. But we have to understand whether they're serving our needs or not. Okay? Not every one of these other pathways is evil and bad. We can't just put in the earbuds and put the blinders on and only isolate ourselves and just be complete and utter hermit, you know. Maybe in an ideal world, we could just go to the top of a mountain, live in a cave, and have no distractions. Then magic would be easy. But that's not the world we live in, I don't think, at least most of us. If you're living in a cave on the top of a mountain, please let me know how fast your internet is up there, because mine is really slow here. We have to live in a world of many, many distractions. This is a signal to noise ratio, okay? This is saying that there's always going to be more noise. And it's our power. It's our skill. It's a measure of our magic, of how we're able to tap into the signal and accomplish our will and fulfill our will and manifest our lives despite the noise, despite the distractions, you know? And it's willpower. Yeah. Anyway, in the next position here, we have a Knight of Cups. Okay, you are, like I said, you're a sensitive person, and I think that the Knight of Cups is you making a very conscious and intentional choice to show somebody what you are discovering here. You're ready to begin something new, because you've processed the old stuff, you've minimized the unnecessary obligations, and you've reduced the noise and the distractions, and you're ready now to leap into something with all your heart. Okay? Saying absolutely 100% yes, 1000% yes to something. You're leaping in, and you're taking an emotional risk. You're being vulnerable. Maybe you're letting somebody else see you for the first time, you know. Maybe you're putting your entire heart and soul into something. Okay? Because there's room for it now. This is you beginning something. You're initiating an emotional connection with people. a person, or maybe it's a job or a skill, maybe it's a pet, a plant, I don't know. It could be a new sense of purpose. It could be a new creative expression, a new emotional outlet. It could be a new sport or a hobby even, okay? But you're pouring your heart into it. And really what you're doing is you're kind of like, you're taking your heart out of your chest and you're presenting it to the world, and you're being vulnerable. You're being vulnerable in a way that's saying, I'm choosing to show the world this, even though I know that I could get hurt. Okay? So you're being more kind of emotionally honest and more even vulnerable. You're taking risks on making those connections. I think, as you move forward in the next few weeks, you're going to be inspired to connect with more people, to take chances, to take emotional risks, okay? And I think it's a period of time where you're going to feel more connected with people, more affectionate. I think you're going to be giving and receiving a lot more love in your life. Yeah, because there's more room for it now. Your relationships with everybody are going to improve. Remember, we said there's going to be improvement in all aspects of life, particularly in your emotional connections with people, places, and things. Your pets, your plants, your people. I wouldn't be surprised if you have an emotional reaction to, your flower blossoming on your violets or something, are just kind of blooming, and that's going to hit you hard, I feel like you're going to be experiencing more kindness from the world around you. Pay attention to the kindness. Pay attention to those little gestures from other people, and express your gratitude toward them, and then pay it forward. Do little acts of kindness for other people. Yeah, holding the door, offering to carry somebody's groceries or help someone cross the street. I don't know what people do these days. There's this thing people do in the drive-through, where if you're getting a coffee or you're getting some lunch or something through a drive-through, then there's people that will sort of pay for the car behind them as a nice gesture. And then when they get up to the window and they're trying to pay, they say, oh no, it's already paid for. The car in front of you paid for it. Well, meanwhile, the car in front of you is already driven down the road, and you'll never get to thank them, And it's just kind of, to me, it's a very selfless thing, because the person's not going to really see who you are. They're not going to get to thank you, So random, anonymous acts of kindness are really going to be a hit for you in the coming weeks, okay? The Two of Pentacles here is change, okay? It is really intentional change. Spirit wants you to be proactive in your life right now. Say yes to things, say no to things. Primarily, I think the two here is kind of saying, make different choices. Learn to say no to things that you're not fully on board with, or that you don't wish to fully commit to, or that might be filling up your plate too much, or that might be distracting you from things that really matter to you. Learn to say no to more things, being proactive. Okay? Saying no does not mean you're lazy. Saying no does not mean you're weak. Saying no does not mean you're mean or unkind or unsupportive or any of that nonsense. It means you're protecting your energy. It means you know who you are and you know what's important to you, and you're willing to be in service of that. Okay? You're fulfilling your prophecy and your manifestation. Okay? This is a card of change. Don't be afraid of change. Don't be afraid to make different choices than what you usually make. Okay? So in some instances, as a practice, whatever your first reaction might be to something, pause and think, what if I did the opposite of that? Doesn't mean you have to always, it's not George Costanza and Seinfeld, you got to do the opposite day, right? But just pause and say, what would happen if I did the exact opposite thing? Maybe it's even a way of us paying attention to our habits. You always do a certain thing. I always brush my teeth with my left hand. What if What if I did it with my right hand today? And that's a silly example, but you get the idea. Doesn't mean you have to, but just ask yourself the what if, okay? Now, I know this is getting long. I'm trying to hurry things up. The Ace of Cups at the end, the destiny. That is the next page that wants to be written, okay? The shape of what wants to happen. And this is the Holy Grail. This is the thing that you know that you want in your life. This is what you will notice in October. Something's going to come your way that you are going to want to say absolutely 1,000% heck yes to. Everything else has been preparation so that when this arrives, you will see it, you will recognize it, you will not hesitate, you will trust that your decision is the right one to say yes, to claim this, to receive this into your life and cherish it. Whatever this is, you're going to know it, you're going to recognize it, okay? This is the source of it. I mean, this is the Holy Grail for you. Yeah. Let's look at our mystery card here. Again, I apologize for the length. I've been trying to keep them under 30 minutes, but sometimes I just get going, and here we are, 42 minutes now. So what is this going to be? Well, I think it's going to be a 6 of Cups. I think it's going to be an Empress card. I think it's going to be a 9 or a 10 of Cups. I think it may be another Lover's card. It may be, it could be any of the cups, really. What do you think it's going to be? Let me know. Now's your chance. Here we go. A 9 of Pentacles. Oh, yeah. Gain, luxury, and lavishness, and progress. This is you living a successful life. You've got your pets, your plants, your people are around here somewhere, right? It's also a reminder that the people are going to be the biggest factor now. Because here you are, you got your pets and your plants, but the people aren't in the picture yet. So this is really, I think, about you making those connections either with family, friends, a lover, your pets, your plant coworkers, right? Bringing in those personal connections, okay, as kind of as a particular focus in this larger picture of your successful life. This is you walking the path of your destiny. Okay, I want you to claim this reading. This is going to be good. October is going to be the month for you. I know it. Now, we're going to do an extended reading as well. We'll do an I Ching hexagram. We'll do some oracle cards. There's a link in the corner. There's a link down below. New readings for Capricorn, Tuesdays and Fridays. Be sure to watch both readings. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you are the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together.